pledge. Roll call.
Mrs. Melissa Walker.
Here.
Mrs. Cotterman.
Here.
Mr. Mosier. Here. Miss Amy Walker.
Here.
Mr. Porter. Here.
Adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion? Second. I'll second. Discussion.
Just a note, the Mosier that's on here for approval is not related.
Okay.
Four.
Mrs. Melissa Walker.
4.
Mr. Porter.
4.
Mrs. Cotterman.
4.
Miss Amy Walker.
4. And can I get a motion for approval of previous board meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Mrs. Melissa Walker.
4.
Mrs. Cotterman.
4.
Mr. Porter.
4.
Mr. Mosier.
4.
Miss Amy Walker.
4. And presentation of certificates and recognition.
Yes, we have several presentations tonight, and we will start with Mr. Conway and Mr. Green, if you would come forward. Our women's chorus, once again, had a very successful year, and we'd like to recognize that tonight. So, Mr. Conway, I'll turn it over to you.
Absolutely, thank you. So again, we are extremely proud of our women's chorus and Mr. Green. This is the 5th year in a row at the state competition. They have rated straight superiors in all of their competitions. I would like to say, as a community member, as a parent, as a colleague, I want to say it has been very exciting to watch how wonderful this program has developed over the years. I think it's a tribute to Mr. Green, his students, and all the work they put in. So let Mr. Green say a few words, but I just want to tell him, on behalf of Madison High School, we're very appreciative of the work he's put into it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. There's not much to say. I mean, you came from the program. It was a strong program when I inherited it, and to gain some of those skills and move those kids along. It's a camaraderie. It's a family. Some of those kids I have for 4 and 5 years in a row, and they hunger for that, something to be a part of and be successful. And it's not just on their own shoulders. It's collective, and I think there's something appealing about that. So we get the work done, and that's my final check to make sure I'm doing what I'm doing is, 4 other people saying, yes, that's good, that's it, well done. So I'm happy to do it. So thank you for the acknowledgement. Appreciate it.
And I do think we have a few members of the women's chorus / chorale that is here. So if those young ladies would like to stand up, and I don't know, Mr. Green, if you want to introduce him.
Well, we've got Izzy Conway, my fine accompanist, Miss Colleen Mowry, Ash Gusta, and Emily Jones and family. Good to be here tonight.
Okay, next, also from the high school, we have some College Credit Plus students who attend Ashland University as well as the high school, and they have become published writers, which is quite an accomplishment. So, Mr. Conway, I'll turn it back over to you for that.
Yes, and if we could have Ms. Thomas come up and those students, that would be awesome. Please come forward. Very proud to announce that we do have, as Mr. Peterson said, some published authors here amongst us. Ms. Thomas teaches she teaches 3 different College Credit Plus classes here at Madison. Ms. Thomas is an Ashland University graduate, and she is also now a professor and teacher here. She has English Composition 1 and 2, American Literature, and also creative writing. So students have an opportunity to not only gain high school credit, but college credit at the same time. While doing that, we had she submitted pieces to Ashland University editors, and they were selected for Ashland University Passages, an undergrad literary press. Brady Gretzinger, Samantha Christ, and Jackson Schaefer were accepted for poetry. Gabriella Vega Weiland was accepted for both fiction and art, and Trenton Ford's poem was published in Ashland University's newsletter, The Collegian. So we are very proud of Ms. Thomas and the work of her students. Anything, Ms. Thomas?
Sure.
And put her on.
Yeah, I'm just really, really proud of these kids. I mean, especially in a time where everything is so generative and AI, they're creating something, and they're putting that work out there. And I mean, it took until I was done with my master's degree for me to get anything published, and they're juniors in high school and can say that they're published writers. So I think it's a pretty big deal that they've taken that time out of just normal classwork to do something extra and special, and I'm really proud of them.
Next, we have 8 retirees this year. 2 of those retirees are wanting to retire, rehire, but I still like to recognize them tonight as well. Of the 8, I think we have 4 of them here present tonight. And I was back digging through looking at their employment cards this morning, and some of them were looking pretty ragged and old. But so is mine. So, but anyways, of the 8, I tallied up the number of years service as teachers to Madison, and it's 251 years that are retiring this year between those 8. So these are all great teachers, but more than that, great people, and we've thoroughly enjoyed having them teach for us, and very deserving of their retirement. What I'd like to do, we'll start with Mr. Stump. If you would come forward, Mr. Stump is going to say a few words about Leanne Hall, who is retiring this year, so if she would come forward as well. Mr. Stump, if you would share a little bit about Leanne.
Sure, good evening. The other day I asked Mrs. Hall, I said, Mrs. Hall, how long have you been in education? And her response was 31.19 years. So if that doesn't tell you how awesome Mrs. Hall is, that's the kind of person she is, very detail-oriented, very organized, but none of that even compares to the love that she has for her job and her students. She has been in Madison for 30 years. She has taught kindergarten, first, third, fourth, gifted, and now title. So she has been at all the elementary schools, including Worcester Heights, but it has truly been an honor to work with Mrs. Hall and have her end her education career with me. She's always down for a laugh. Anytime I'm having a rough day, she's the first one in my office, ready to put a smile on my face, because that's the person she is. Digging through some old literature that I created a while ago, this is about 10 years old. I wrote a newsletter where I was praising some teachers when I was at Madison South, and then I happened to stumble upon this. You don't even know this is coming. I said, have you seen the materials that are available on the wall with the downstairs copy machine? There are a ton of wonderful additions found and shared by Leanne Hall, who's taken upon herself to search for little extras that can highlight some of the positive examples that students set at school. Thanks for the loot, Leanne. Because again, that's just the type of person she is. So it is my honor and privilege to work alongside her, and Mrs. Hall, we know there's so great things, and know that you are loved and you will be missed. Thank you.
And then Mr. Conway, if you'd come back up, you have 3 retirees with us this evening.
And if I could have Kim, Holly, and Jim come forward. So when I typically recognize retirees, I talk about their impact on the students. I talk about their impact on the building, on their colleagues, on how all of them have made Madison what it is. And that is 1,000% true when I talk about these fine educators. Holly has been our business management teacher for, gosh, I don't know how long, a long time. And she has also led our Business Professionals of America. Kim has done a million different of our business classes and our pathway classes, everything from business econ foundations. She recently took over our senior credential only program. She leads our career tech program. She's the department chair for career tech. Mr. Dillon is not only, just like Maggie, he's also a CCP teacher, and is the chair of our science department, and has been so for many, many years, also doing academic challenge. He's also the voice of the Rams. So I normally talk about that. What I want to talk about is just the impact that they've had on me. I came here 16 years ago not knowing anything, and these three people have become my close friends, and I learned so much from them. And they're the people, when I'm screwing up, they'll come in and they'll say, let me talk to you, let me tell you what's going on. They are the voice of the teachers, but they've helped me be a better leader because I've learned from them what to say and how to treat people. Kim, Holly, Jim, they are people that I will forever call my friends. And when I talk about Madison, and I talk about the relationships that occur at Madison, I'm talking about people like them. Whatever staff member steps up, they're going to say the same things as I am. So, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say, God, I love you guys, and I'm going to miss you. So.
I'm coming back.
Thank you. Oh, I gotta go to NHS. See you guys later.
Don't miss that.
I'll leave on that. See you guys later.
Okay, lastly, Mr. Nelson, if you would come forward. The middle school was recognized, has been recognized this year from the state level for the Purple Star Award. And I'd just like to read, before I turn it over to Mr. Nelson, read just an excerpt from a letter I received from Director of the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, Stephen Dakin. I am pleased to inform you that the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce has selected Madison Middle School as a Purple Star school for the class of 2026. Ohio's Purple Star Advisory Board set strict criteria that schools must meet to be eligible for a Purple Star designation, and I am proud to announce that your school has successfully met these standards. I applaud and appreciate your commitment to serving military-connected students and families. Ohio's military-connected youth need support that considers their unique wellness and academic needs, especially during transitions, activations, and deployments. The Purple Star Award signifies your school's proven commitment to serving these students and families.
Thank you. So I want to give credit to both my school counselors, Mrs. Rush and Mrs. Eberst. They really took this on at the beginning of the year. This was something that we talked about at the end of last year that I really wanted to make sure that we were trying to service our military students and families, so that we were making sure that, they go through a lot of things, moving every couple of years. Parents are being deployed in and out, so providing them with that support. So a couple of things that we had to do for this year was we had to have some liaisons for the buildings, which both of them took on. So they're the people that are the immediate contact with ODE and our military families. They had to go through specialized training that was put on through ODE in order to even qualify to be a part of the application process. So Mrs. Rush sat in on a lot of training with that with ODE. We updated our website that has a lot of resources directly in our website that parents and families are able to find so that they need resources and that kind of thing. So that's all stuff that they put on. One of our major highlights for this year was our military appreciation breakfast that we did. We had quite a few people show up for that. Our 5th grade cooking club actually prepared all of the food for that, and you guys had their food in December when they came. So they put all of that on. A lot of our teachers stepped up. We had music. We had all kinds of stuff going on. It was really cool to see. So, some things that we're doing moving forward, now that we have it, we want to continue to go further with that. So we're looking at doing a peer mentoring program where some of our older students in the military can talk with some of our younger students and see what that looks like. And then Mrs. Rush wants to start a military club that kind of does some raising of funds for like the Wounded Warrior Project and the Young Marines.
right, administrative, oh, actually, recognition of visitors. Would anyone like to address the board at this time? Okay, now administrative.
We do have one.
Oh, we do, I'm sorry.
I've not been to many of these board meetings, but I
So,
was,
sir, state your name and address for us, and then,
my name is Scott Washburn. I live at 1085 Stewart Road North. Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Peterson, staff, parents, and community members. My name is Scott Washburn. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. Last week's ballot result was disappointing for many of us who care deeply about our schools and our community. But I don't believe the outcome means our community does not support education. I believe it means many voters still had questions, concerns, and uncertainty about the proposed 1.5% income tax and how it would affect their families. In today's world, information spreads quickly, but unfortunately, so does misinformation. Social media has become a place where emotions often travel faster than facts. Many people formed opinions based on short posts, rumors, or negative commentary, rather than complete information about what the levy would actually fund, who it would impact, and why the district believed it was necessary. This is not meant as criticism of our community. It simply shows that communication today is harder than ever. When people are worried about inflation, rising cost, and financial uncertainty, they naturally become cautious about any new tax. And when the loudest voices online focus only on fear or frustration, it becomes difficult for thoughtful discussion to break through. I believe this moment is not the end of the conversation. It is an opportunity to improve the conversation. As a district and as a community, we need to continue explaining clearly and transparently what the financial needs truly are, what challenges our schools are facing, what programs and opportunities are at stake, and how any future proposal would directly benefit students. People deserve facts, specifics, and open dialogue. They deserve opportunities to ask questions and receive honest answers. Most importantly, we can't allow division and negativity to define us. Our schools belong to all of us, whether someone voted yes or no. Every parent wants strong schools. Every resident wants responsible leadership. And every student deserves adults who will keep working together even after a difficult outcome. I hope we move forward not with anger or blame, but with reflection, better communication, and renewed community engagement. If there is another proposal in the future, I hope the conversation reaches more directly, clearly, and respectfully beyond social media headlines and online arguments. Our students are watching how adults respond during difficult moments. Let's show them resilience, civility, and commitment to the future of the district. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Administrative committee reports. There's no legislative, athletic board of control,
We have not met.
and student representatives' comments.
Hello, good evening. I would like to introduce you guys to the new officers of Student Council for the 2026-2027 school year.
My name is Chase Hunsinger. I am your president for the 2026-2027 school year. I am enrolled in precision machining and a member of the soccer and track team.
I'm Ashton Huffman. I am the Vice President of Student Council. I'm in the Health Technologies program, and I'm in soccer, track and field, and golf.
NHS is having their ceremony tonight, with all 44 members being recognized for their hard work, dedication, and community service throughout their senior year. There will be 5 student speakers there for the evening, and those are Timothy Ellis, Courtney Cyrus, Liliana Allen, Ashley Gusta, and Bryce Tudor.
Track and field has their conference meet this Friday at Ashland University, and they're excited to see the team score well. Next Friday starts the districts, and they're hoping to get some kids out to regional after that. And then baseball had a game last night against Dover. They unfortunately fell a hard battle. They also played Dover again right now. Good luck to them. Their current record is 10-13.
Softball has senior night at 11 on Saturday, and then tournaments start up. They will either have their first playoff game against Shelby or Ashland. Their current record is 10-4. The boys tennis team had their match canceled this Monday night. They now have practice all the rest of the week and are preparing for districts.
Okay, Skills USA attended their state competition last week. Many students competed, but only one student placed, and that was Jenna Richards in barbering. She placed third. With only 10 school days left in the year and only 7 for seniors, things are starting to gear up for graduation. There will be a health and wellness event in the gym this Friday morning for all high school students, and there are even community partners involved. PBIS will also be held this Friday, and this is the last one of the year. Thank you, guys.
Facilities?
John submitted his report via
Oh,
email.
yep, okay. Student achievement.
For student achievement, we'll start with Eastview. At Eastview, we are winding down the school year with end-of-year diagnostics. We still have students finishing up, but as it stands now, our average growth in reading was 124% and math was 105%. Next week, we have a steady lineup of celebrations to celebrate both academic growth and positive behavior. Celebrations include a water party, ice cream party, a field day, and a red carpet awards ceremony. We are very proud of our students and staff for all their accomplishments in the 2025-2026 school year. At Mifflin, the community recently came together to unearth the time capsule from the Mifflin 6th grade class of 1999. Students were able to see many items from the era that they did not know existed or see prices of items that were reflective of the times. The next day, Mifflin had an open house for everyone to say goodbye to the building and displayed various artifacts dating back to 1949. Mifflin celebrated the women of Mifflin, hosting Muffins with Mom, as well as the annual Trivia Bowl, where the two houses battled it out for academic bragging rights. Now that students have given their all for state testing, Mifflin is looking forward to a school-wide field trip to Charles Mill Lake Park, iReady Incentive Day, students versus staff kickball, and awards. At Madison South, we just finished up state testing for our 3rd and 4th graders. Students and staff worked extremely hard to prepare and give their best on the test. All grades are doing our final ELA and math diagnostic tests currently, and we are looking forward to celebrating growth with bouncy houses next week. At the high school, all state assessments have been completed at the high school. Over 2,000 tests were administered in total. We are very thankful for the work of Mr. Ritchie, our school counselor, for his efforts in organizing all of them. The OCC leadership organized a care package to send to the Worcester High School community in the memory of Maddox Glasser. Maddox was a Worcester student and baseball player that recently lost his life to a medical emergency. His family and the Worcester community remain in our thoughts and prayers. The MCHS cross-categorical students hosted their pen pals from Lexington this past week. Both groups spent time in the MCHS library doing group activities before sharing lunch provided by our culinary arts students. Finally, at the Adult Career Center, thank you to our great MACC instructor team and support staff. Team MACC is pleased to share recent completions, 90%, 18 of 20 enrolled students, certified nurse aide completers, 17 of 19, medical assisting technologies, 1 of 1, recent certifications, 93%, 27 of 29, welding certifications, 6 of 7, certified nurse aide, 9 of 10, industrial maintenance technician, NCCER core certifications were 6 of 6, dental assisting radiography, the x-ray license, 6 for 6, and then the adult diploma program, 2025-26 statistics, looks like between July and May. Enrollment, 38 students to date. Graduation is at 88%, with 23 of 26 students receiving diplomas and industry credentials. The retention was 100%, where it was 12 of 12 students currently enrolled, completing requirements. And then, in comparison, 2024-25, 36 of 40 students completed at a 90% graduation.
Thank you. Nothing for board policy, finance?
Yep, we met Monday. We had a couple community members come, which was cool because we got to discuss, answer questions, get some insight. We went over the tax policy that we talked about last time. We solidified it, so we'll have it on the June agenda for the first reading.
Okay.
And then Brad gave us a great example, and I'm gonna have him talk about it on, one reason why you kind of need that 60 days cash on hand we always talk about. So,
So the board already knows this, but I'll do it for everybody else's benefit. We had the second largest taxpayer in the district who actually holds 2.3% of the entire valuation of the district was delinquent on their taxes. That's not something that I can control. It's not something I was aware of, but we're not talking, $5,000. We were talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. And, I'll just start with the good news first. The good news is because we have such a good relationship with our county auditor, a lot of you guys know who Taylor Huff was. Her mom, Amy Huff, works there. We've worked with her. We're going to get an advance on the August settlement. So that delinquency, we're going to get $700,000 of that money before the end of the fiscal year. But like in Cuyahoga County, the auditors have quit doing advances. So if we were in a different county or we didn't have that kind of relationship with our county auditor, we wouldn't end this fiscal year in the black. We would be in the red because, over $700,000 was a delinquency that, somebody just didn't pay the taxes in time. Now, it didn't say they didn't pay their taxes at all. They paid them, they just paid them late. So because they paid them late, we didn't get it on the settlement. But what she was referring to is why you need the 60 days cash on hand. Now, that one delinquency was over 5 days of cash on hand gone right there. So if you only have 5 days of cash on hand and somebody like that happens to pay the taxes late, you're back to zero. So there's a lot of things like that we can't control. And we do what we can to mitigate the fallout. But, had we had 60 days cash on hand, then I wouldn't have had to rely on working with the county auditor to, do an advance. And this is more than you really probably care about, but because we're doing it, that advance actually is from FY27 taxes, and we're getting it in FY26, so it's going to mess up the settlement sheets, but we're going to be able to work through that. Or, like I said, had we been in a county like Cuyahoga, we wouldn't have been able to even get it. So those are just examples of, why we need 60 days cash on hand. A school district's not a business that gets money every time they sell something multiple times a month. When we get that tax settlement, that has to last us 6 months until we get the next one, unless we can work with the auditors to get in advance for something. So it's really important so when we're sitting up here talking about why we need it, we're not just blowing smoke, and we're not saying we need it because it would be nice to have it. We're saying we need it because there's a lot of things like this that occur that are out of our control that we have to be able to weather the storm. So, is that?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to have to say again, a thank you to the county auditors for working with us on this. So.
Yep, thank you. That's all.
All right, superintendent's update.
As our student reps stated, we are coming down the home stretch. 10 days of school left for all students other than our elementaries have 7 days left, and our seniors have 7 days left. But other than that, everybody else 10 days. So we're coming right down to the home stretch. I would like to publicly thank our students, our employees, our administrators, parents, pretty much everybody involved. You all, like to thank everybody for a great year. I think we've had another great year. And so I'd like to just publicly thank everybody for their efforts in making our year successful. A few events that I want to recognize as we close the school year. Tomorrow is our senior citizen luncheon, the final one of the year, and it is already sold out. I know Chelsea takes those phone calls, and she's had to turn several people away, so we'll have about 120 senior citizens in the Ramble Inn tomorrow for that final luncheon. Reminder that our elementary Olympics will be Monday, weather permitting, and if the weather is not permitting, they'll be moved to Tuesday evening, and that's 6 o'clock out at the football and track stadium. And then lastly, just a reminder, the big culminating event of the year is graduation, and that'll take place on Sunday, the 31st at 2 o'clock over at the middle school. And then just lastly, I suggest that we plan for some work sessions. There's a couple things that we need to discuss. One is the strategic plan. When we initially implemented the strategic plan, the intention was for 5 years, and this culminates that 5-year period. So we need to talk about next steps for strategic planning, and then also for potential levy conversation. If in fact we do decide to put something on in November, we'll have to have the first resolution for that at our June board meeting. So I'll text you guys and send out some potential dates where we can schedule a work session or two to have some conversations around our next steps. And that concludes my update. Oh, one more thing. With the filling the South Principal position, we've got some wonderful candidates for that, and we will be interviewing for that position next Wednesday and Thursday. So hopefully in the next week and a half, we'll have somebody in place for that.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for approval of donations?
What about presentations?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. McVicker. You're Yep, come on up.
Well, I'm going to wait for a formal. Good evening, thank you. There's 2 pages that I gave you that I want to go over, because since Renee isn't here this month, she's going to present next month. I would present next month one of the areas, so I'm going to take care of them both tonight, so if that's okay. One of the pages I gave you was about school improvement, so that's where I'm going to start. And I'm not going to read each of the bulleted items for you, but there are a few that I want to highlight. With school improvement, with the Ed Steps program, with the data that we've had across the district, we've identified some areas and student subgroups that we want to focus on for the 26-27 school year. So that is what I have in the second bullet, with students with disabilities, and then also students considered to be economically disadvantaged. Those 2 groups are not closing the gaps as quickly as we would like, and not seeing the growth that we would anticipate in the areas of English, language arts, and also math. So those are 2 that we're going to zero in on as a district, and then work down into the buildings. With the assessments, I'll go down the first 2 bullets with the ACTs. That information likely will change. This morning I got a notice that said that there was an error in the ACT scoring in ACT. It wasn't a Madison, wasn't Ohio. It sounds like it's across the country. They pulled the ACT scores, and they're going to resubmit new and updated scores by June 2nd. So it will be different, and within the message that we received, they're not going to go down. The scores, if they don't stay the same, will improve slightly. So that will be a change, and I'll try to convey that update. One thing I will point out within the ACT, We did have one person that had a perfect score in reading, and that was Kaylee Stone. Federal programs, I'll skip down to that. Those are the areas of Title I, 1D, 2, 4, and so on, are areas that we receive federal funds for. And in each of those, I tried to illustrate how those funds actually flow through Madison, but address Madison students that also, Madison resident students that are also attending non-public schools. So for Title I, even though we are allocated over $105,000, non-public schools get $23,000 of that because Madison students attend those facilities. So I've tried to give you, as I said, in each of those a breakdown of how we spend the money. With Title I, we pay for Title I salaries, Title I supplies, family support, and also family engagement activities. Part of which is the communication piece that we have this year called Rooms. And that was an allowable expense under Title I. At the bottom of that, then, you'll see the total CCIP for Madison for the 25-26, and then also what the non-public schools would receive that's going through. A couple of items on the back of that page, one of which I'm not going to mention, because I don't want to cause this to, yeah, okay. So I'll just leave it at that. Any questions with school improvement, the assessment, and federal programs? And again, the one didn't want to discuss was Title IX. Okay. Second page that I gave you is with regards to technology. In the student devices, grades 5 through 12, and again, I just gave you an overview of what we've done over the last year and where we anticipate moving forward. The one item in there that will be a change is the middle schools moving away from one-to-one devices, and we're going to have them in the classrooms. They will not be going home. And the biggest reason for that is the amount of damage that we have seen at the middle school with those devices, with the age of those devices, and we just felt it was best at this point to pull back from that and have those devices stay in the classroom. We have a lot that will be damaged. Students put them in a backpack, take them on the bus, sit them on the bus. Dogs chew up power cords. We're trying to eliminate some of that. And further down, and I'll mention it now, this is the third year that we've had a third party do the repairs on our Chromebooks, meaning that we've sent them out because of the volume. And Luke and we've been tracking the cost of the pieces and parts of those things. If we were to do those in-house, if we were replacing the screens, purchasing them on our own, we were looking at over $78,000 in damage just this year. That's why we're keeping them in the classroom. So that'll be a change. Jordan has said he's met with his staff. They anticipate this coming. They're preparing for it. So it will be a little bit different for the middle school, but hopefully it cuts down on the damage that we're seeing. We're also trying to preserve those devices as long as we can, because we know we're not into the rotation and purchasing those. Classroom technology, our goal every year is to have the devices back in place and up and ready for the teachers by August 1st. We've been able to meet that goal the last few years. This year we should be in good shape to do that. It will look different. With the consolidation that we have this year, we're not going to be able to get in and unplug and plug everything back in and set everything up, so they're going to stay in the classroom. So it'll be a little bit different, but we should be back on par after the move takes place. Upgrading staff devices, and a little further down, I mentioned some other things with our Chromebooks. When we had to update, and Microsoft forced us to update to Windows 11, they would no longer support prior versions. It is a resource-hungry software operating system, and it is pushing our laptops that teachers have is about to their limit, and we're starting to see some issues with that. The biggest issue is if it's a classroom, teacher has their laptop open, has a separate monitor, and then has the interactive panel on the wall. It doesn't support all three. So you have to close one of them, shut one of them down. So it's really those teachers that take advantage of all those devices being available at one time, they're struggling with it, and they're frustrated with it, and there's nothing that the tech department can do short of replacing those, because those things were not built to handle Windows 11. Systems upgrade and infrastructure, I talk about the E-rate program. E-rate is a federal program that we, because of our economic situation, they will reimburse us for purchases for the infrastructure up to 80%. And we've been very fortunate. We've been able to do some things, upgrades within our network because of those funds coming in, and I put the total in there. Mentioned the two-way communication, go down to that, first year of using rooms. That is part of our website and also our application, the Madison app that people have. I think the response has been very positive. Our staff, I think, is starting to use it more and more. The community responses that at least we've seen, and I think Sonia can confirm that, has been positive. Staff's using it. So we will continue to use that tool as a two-way communication. Focusing on system security at the bottom, we started this year with the data privacy agreements that needed to be in place so that it was protecting students' personally identifiable information, that vendors had to sign off and say that they were not selling any of our student information. And generally, we have held to the line that if they don't have a DPA for us, then we're probably not going to use their software. And that has caused some concern in classrooms. People have been used to using things year after year. Now they haven't been able to, and we've tried to provide some sort of alternative to that. For the last few years, Luke and I have tried to get people to understand before you go out and purchase, make sure they are vetted through the tech department, that it's compatible with our system and also compliant with these agreements. And I think we're getting there. We're making some inroads there. So the staff has been great about it. We started this in August, and I'd say probably within the first month, we had over 100 requests to check to make sure that software that was being used and the apps that was being used were appropriate. So that's been a very good program. On the back then, the ongoing challenges, obviously with our financial situation makes it tough. But one of the things that we see and we hear across the district is our radios, our two-way radios. There are some areas even within the buildings that are dead zones. High school in particular, depending on the radio and the day, you may not be able to communicate from one side of the building to the other. So it's a safety concern. So we're looking at how we may be able to upgrade that and update those radios either through grants or through just phasing those things in over time, but it's a big concern. Cybersecurity, this is a year that we have a cybersecurity team, we have a cybersecurity plan in place, incident response plan. We meet periodically to review what issues may be out there and try to head some things off. Brad has been very instrumental with some things that he's seen from the financial side. There's concerns that pop up, and we start taking a look at them and how we can address those. And again, with Luke's background and knowledge with what we need to do from the cybersecurity side of things, I think we're well ahead of some other districts, but nowhere near where we need to be, and it'll be an ongoing process. Finally, the device replacement schedule. A couple of things in there just to be aware of. Within the next 3 years, we'll have over 2,600 of our Chromebook devices that will be out of warranty or end of life. And once those things drop off, they will no longer support state testing. That is a big concern. And there are some other things that we're hearing, that there are some programs that will probably not be supported by the Chromebooks that we currently have moving forward. So we just need to be aware of that. And I've also thrown in some prices, estimated costs of what those devices would be. Right now, if we were to replace them, similar to what we have, they're going to be $450 to $500 each. So you get an idea of what kind of, the magnitude of what that is. I mentioned laptops, the staff laptops earlier. We have 300 of those devices throughout the district, 250 of which will or soon will be out of warranty. And we usually try to get 5-year warranties on those things. On site, they come out and they will repair if it's a warranty issue. But you can also see now what the cost of those things are going to be to get a similar laptop with the memory that will support Windows 11, hopefully position us down the road. We're looking between $1,400 and $1,450, and that price just keeps going up. So I don't know how long we're going to be able to push those things out. That's, with the Chromebooks, is a big reason why we brought them back into the classrooms in the middle school. We're trying to prolong their life. I also want to say thank you not only to Luke, but also Gino and Melissa are the two techs that try to keep things running. Part of the reason that I looked at putting the third-party repairs, getting those off-site, is so that those two people, Gino and Melissa, could have more of their time working with staff, working with students, and not sitting and repairing Chromebooks all day. Those are my two areas to represent. Thank you for giving me the time to do that. I took advantage of it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you. We also have the music boosters here with us tonight. Hi.
Hi, how are you guys?
Baker, state her name.
Can you state your name, please?
Yes, Tiffany Winters. I am the president of the music club. Heidi Johnson, she is our concessions. She is here tonight. Mr. Bulliant, back here, he is our treasurer. He's here tonight. Our vice president is Jessica Maddie, and our secretary is Katie Ramsey. We support the high school band, which includes the symphonic, concert, and jazz and marching bands. The middle school band, the Ramettes and Majorettes, the high school choir, which we have Mr. Green who is here. That's chorale, women's chorus, and all that jazz.
Big one so they can see it.
Oh, you put it up there. Awesome. Thank you. So our high school choir, you just heard all the wonderful things that Mr. Green is doing, and we're very proud of the high school choir. That should be a slide of the high school choir, but there we go. And you can go on now. So fundraising that we do is we do a candle sale, we do a coffee sale, we do 50-50 at the home football games, which Mr. Porter is amazing at selling 50-50 tickets. We hope that he continues to do that for us. We have our music club concession stand, which is on the away side for the football games, and Mrs. Johnson is here. We have our Spirit Shack, which is on the home side where we sell all the fun stuff for the kids. If you're taking your kid to a football game, we love that you're supporting us. The Majorette and Ramettes, they did a mini camp in the spring. They do a calendar fundraiser, a kickline fundraiser, our jazz bands, and all that jazz choir. They did a winter and a spring cabaret, and that was a fundraiser. We've had parents who work bingo. We have alumni night that is coming up that is going to be a way we're going to fundraise. And then we have the monthly Dine to Know Dates. Yes. Okay, this is a picture of our jazz band and all that jazz. So our recent purchases have been a tenor saxophone, a bass saxophone, 5 bass drum heads, harnesses, and stands, additional drum heads, ukuleles for the middle school. We help with solo and ensemble registration and medal fees. We have We help pay for the pianist and piano tuning that Mr. Green uses. She was here tonight, and she's wonderful. She did that when I was in high school. The OMEA contest fees, and then this past year, the majorettes and ramettes, they got new uniforms. That's just a picture of the symphonic and concert band. Our upcoming expenses, we help pay for the Cedar Point trip, Disney. Our band and choir are going to Disney next spring break. We are looking to get our concession stand fryer cleaning. If you do not know that, the away side, we fry foods. The home side does not, so come get your fried foods over there. We're hoping to help with mellophones and baritone instruments. The Ramettes are getting some new flagpoles and silks. They want some Globetons. We're hoping to help Mr. Green with some concert attire upgrade so that their women's chorale can look very fancy. And then he is going to do a fall musical. And then marching. There you go. There's a picture of our marching band. And if you go, Ramettes, these are their beautiful new uniforms that we helped them get. And they hadn't had uniforms in, I bet, 10 years. And go to the raincoats. So we want to thank the Larry Thomas donation. So we had not had new raincoats in 25 plus years because when I was in high school, we wore those raincoats, and I've been out of high school for more than 25 years. So, so we were so thankful because we had started a fund, and they, Mr. Conway came to us and asked if there was something we needed, and this was what we needed, and we are very, very thankful. We meet the second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. in the high school band room. So Mr. Green had his concert last night. The high school bands have their concert tomorrow night at 6 o'clock if anybody wants to come at the middle school.
Okay, item I, approval of donations. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. And a discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all of our donors again. These folks are very helpful and do a lot of things for our district things that we wouldn't be able to do as a district. And so we're very thankful for these donations. And I believe we have with us tonight some folks from the one of the committees from the All Souls Universal Church. So if you just raise your hand, we'd like to thank you for the donation to cover outstanding lunch debt for students, this year's seniors who receive free and reduced lunch. So we thank you for that generous donation to help some of our senior students. So thank you.
Mr. Mosier?
For.
Mrs. Melissa Walker?
For.
Mrs. Cotterman?
For.
Mr. Porter?
For.
Miss Amy Walker?
For. We have treasurer's business. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
Who seconded it? Okay, thanks. All right. First thing we'll talk about in the treasurer's report, the monthly financial report, we'll talk about the revenues. I discussed a little earlier the delinquency that was out of the district's control. The good news is when I was able to get that advance from the county auditor and I put it into the forecast, we're still within 0.39% of what I had forecasted. So we're within 8%, which, with all the things going on, that's pretty good. But, I don't want, as the board, I don't want you to get used to being able to be within 1% because it's not something that's going to be able to be done every time. I will try. I'm not saying that's not going to be the goal, but it's difficult with all the different things going on. Some of the things that affect the revenues other than delinquencies, that the piggyback that the county commissioners did, there has been an issue with the software, the county auditors on that, so the way that's coming to us is different. There's something called excess cost, which, when a student that's open enrolled to another district, if they are a special needs student and that district has to spend more money than what the state gives them, they can bill us back for excess costs, and we get to bill other schools for excess costs. This year, what we were able to bill was less than previous years, so that revenue was lower, and then what we got billed was higher. And that has to do with, just the fact that there's a lot of kids open enrolled out, and the cost of services is just going up and up and up and up. The good news is, like I said, we're within 0.66 of what was forecasted, and if you look at the revenues, once I put that advance back in, we're right on track with the 88% of what we were last year. So that the green at the top, I'll go to that green bar at the top is, the total revenues for this fiscal year as opposed to the total revenues of last fiscal year in comparison to what was forecasted. So, last year at that point in time, I was at 88% of what was forecasted. This year at this point in time, I'm at 88% of what was forecasted. So we are on track, even because of the county auditor working with us, even with the delinquency. Expenditures, we're on track with those as well. However, expenditures are rising faster than our revenues are rising, hence that's why we need a levy, because if revenues only go up 2% and expenditures rise 10%, you got to make cuts or get more money. However, the one thing I want to point out is in 6 weeks from now, July 1st, every column on the forecast switches over to the left one. So now we are on fiscal year 26. In 6 weeks, we'll be in fiscal year 27, which means the negative amount that is in fiscal year 28 will move over. So I definitely would anticipate having to do another precautionary written plan like we've done. We've done it twice now since I've been here. And that will basically, where the state comes in and says, what's your plan? What are you cutting? And the board has to vote on it. And it's a document that we are pretty much, once we vote on it, once it's in place, we're going to have to do it. So I would anticipate having to do that come August. Expenditures, though, just like the revenues, we're within 1% of what we were last year, so that's pretty much, we're on track. And I don't need to talk about this last page because it was the same thing I always put on, but, it's, when somebody asks where your money's going, well, the vast majority of it is salaries and benefits, but it makes sense. We are in the service industry. We don't make widgets. But as Mr. McVicker pointed out, we really should, the portion of our budget that are supplies and capital outlay is right around 5%. And that's way too low for what we really need to replace. And, none of us here can help it. The technology just is, exponentially improving. You buy a laptop today and it's obsolete tomorrow. So we just have to try to keep up with it. And thank you, Mr. McVicker, for working with me so hard to try to kick the can down the road, but we're to the point where, we can't kick it down the road too much further. When I said revenues, I told you when I ran the forecast, we're within 0.66 right now. Revenues were 0.39, expenditures are 0.66. So they're both within 1% of what I forecasted, which is as good as I can get it right now. I'm not gonna be able to get it 100%. The next thing, it says approval of a transfer of $15,000 from general fund to PI. This is for turf replacement, and if we don't do this every year, which the board's already talked about doing it, if we don't do this every year, when we have to replace it, how are you gonna come up with the several $100,000 to do it? So we're at least, this is foresight to say, hey, we're gonna have to replace it. It's got a limited life. And this is just transferring it to a specific fund to keep it held. That's the conclusion of my business, my reports. Do you have anything you'd like to add or ask?
Property down south, any updates on that?
Yes, the realtor, Andy White, has had contact with the soccer.
AYSA soccer.
AYSA soccer. He said it sounded hopeful. We don't have any, offers that I know of, but they are working through it. And in addition to that AYSA soccer, Mr. White has been in contact with the one gentleman who had bid on the land prior, but stepped away because of the flood zone. And he is still looking into it. So Mr. White, he's got some areas he's following up on, but that's where we're at right now.
I would like to say that I am in favor of reducing screens and Chromebooks altogether anyway, and going back to paper, pencil, and books. I don't know the cost of that curriculum compared to the cost of Chromebooks, but especially in elementary and middle school. I know we would probably need them for state testing somehow, and I don't know if there was a way to have less and rotate for state testing. I don't know if that'd be a discussion we'd all want to have at some point.
I actually wrote down a question that says, at what point is it cheaper to move away from that and back to?
Yeah, I think it would be better for students anyway in learning that you have to use a pen and paper and a book and read than a screen. So.
I'll just add, that's definitely discussions that we are having at the administrative level. One of the difficulties in that, it's not insurmountable, but we have some long-term curricular contracts that, so the timing of that but those discussions are ongoing.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Yep.
Mrs. Melissa Walker.
4.
Mr. Mosier.
4.
Mr. Porter.
4.
Mrs. Cotterman.
4.
Miss Amy Walker.
4. Item K, matters related to personnel, 1 through 3. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
A second.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I just want to recognize 3 of our administrative staff that will be resigning at the end of the year. Mrs. Cox, Mr. Stump, and Mr. Gordon isn't here tonight, but those are 3 first-class individuals that I really appreciate the work they've done in our district, both as teachers and as administrators. And just want to let them know they will be sorely missed. We recognize their contribution to our district, and we will definitely miss them. Mr. Stump, we will still, he's going to be employed through Mid-Ohio, and we are going to contract with Mid-Ohio for gifted services, and he's going to be providing those services for us next year. So we'll have him back in that capacity. But Mrs. Cox, Mr. Gordon, and Mr. Stump, thank you for all that you've done, and you'll be sorely missed, so thank you.
Mrs. Melissa Walker.
4.
Mrs. Cotterman.
4.
Mr. Porter.
4.
Mr. Mosier.
4.
Miss Amy Walker.
4. Item L, superintendent's business, 1 through 9. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Just a a couple comments quickly on a few items. Number 3, you'll see there is a second reading. We inadvertently omitted that from last month's list, so it still needs this month for the second reading, so that's why that's there by itself. And then item 4, which is an increase, a 50-cent per hour increase for our substitute cooks. I just remind you that our food service funding for that is not part of the general fund. That's done through the federal lunch program. So we probably wouldn't be doing that if it was out of the general fund, but the fund balance for our food service program is such that they can afford that increase. And then the last one is the number 5, the agreement with Giannino's. Giannino's will be providing the school split between our athletic program and our band program, our music program, $50,000 over the next 10 years in support of those programs. And in return for that, their logo will be on the football turf. It's already there.
Mr. Mosier.
4.
Mr. Porter.
4.
Mrs. Cotterman.
4.
Mrs. Melissa Walker.
4.
Miss Amy Walker.
4. Item M, visitor comments. Okay. President's business. Do we want to set dates for the work sessions that you mentioned?
Why don't we do that? It could take a little while
Okay.
to get to that, so we can work on that
All right.
later.
Can I get a motion to go into executive session for item E, matters required to be kept confidential by federal law or rules or state statutes?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
And there will be a vote when we come out.
I need Mrs. Melissa Walker.
4.
Mrs. Cotterman.
4.
Mr. Porter.
4.
Mr. Mosier.
4.
Miss Amy Walker.
4.
Turn the heat down.
Can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Mr. Mosier.
4.
Mrs. Melissa Walker.
4.
Mr. Porter.
4.
Mrs. Cotterman.
4.
Miss Amy Walker.
4. Can I get a motion to uphold the superintendent's decision to suspend Riley Ward for 10 school days?
So moved.
And a
Mr. Mosier.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so let me just, to uphold the suspension.
I think it would be to uphold the principal's decision to suspend, correct?
Oh, I apologize, yes.
Yes.
To
Okay.
uphold the principal's decision, my apologies.
Principal's
Yep.
decision. Sorry. And are we ready for roll call?
Yep, discussion.
Discussion?
Go ahead.
Mr. Mosier.
4.
Mrs. Cotterman.
4.
Mr. Porter.
4.
Mrs. Melissa Walker.
4.
Miss Amy Walker.
4.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I need to come out of it.
I'll second.
We already came out of
That's
the executive session.
Mrs. Cotterman. Mr. Mosier.
4.
Mrs. Cotterman.
4.
Mr. Porter.
4.
Miss Melissa Walker.
4.
Miss Amy Walker.
4.
Yeah, you came out of executive session at 8:09, first by Mr. Mosier, second by Miss Melissa Walker.
Yes.